Okay, well, it's a lovely winter's evening, as you can see. The sun's just beginning to set, and it's absolutely freezing cold outside. It feels like we haven't even got a sun at all. I think the Earth's just lost randomly roaming through the universe, actually. It's just so cold. Anyway, on with a review. That's the little heater I've got in here, warming the conservatory up. You'll see that most of the Lego station is finished, and most of the construction vehicles have left. So expect the Lego vids really soon, and we've got Thomas and Friends this weekend, so that should be cool. But today's vid is the Class 08. Okay, so here we are with the Class 08 by Hornby. It's absolutely beautiful. I can say that without even opening it, honestly. No, I have actually checked this. I did open it up to have a look at it quite a while ago. It's still DC, although as you can see there, it is DCC ready. Super detail, and for once, that's correct. It's honestly accurate. It is super detail. In fact, do you know, I might anger a few people in saying this, but it's better than the Bachmann one. Yeah, honestly, seriously, it's more impressive than the Bachmann Class 08, and that takes some doing, but it is possible. 75.65. I think I paid less than that actually. I think it was about 70 or just under something like that. Again, I recommend that you, if you are paying any substantial amount of money for a locomotive, certainly if you're paying 3 figures, definitely ask for a discount or ask the shopkeeper what's the best that they can do. Sometimes, you know, bundle other stuff in there too, like coaches and wagons and stuff, and you'll get a good deal. So, here we are, the Class 08 by Hornby. Now, I do have several Class 08s by Hornby, but this is my first premium Class 08. Hornby keep doing this. They have like a whole range of budget models, then a whole range of premium models, whereas Bachmann are just smack bang in the middle, and that's it. That's all they do. Whereas Hornby do cheapo stuff and expensive stuff. This belongs on the expensive side. This is a premium model, as you can see by the price. I mean, the Bachmann one was nowhere near that. The Bachmann one was about 50 quid. And this really is beautiful. So let's open the box and see what we see. Okay, well, the packaging is fantastic. It is, I know it's Hornby, but it is brilliant. This is one of my favourite types of packaging, and I'll show you why. I will show you why. Okay, well, for a start, the box is pretty standard, yeah? Nothing special about that. You get a nice picture, at least an accurate picture, an accurate representation of the model we're buying. And as you can see, Class 08, and this is Serco. So it's Serco livery, and I was recommended this by Nick. 2 shout outs here. I was recommended this by Nick because he told me that a Serco Class 08 existed, and I looked it up, and yep, he was right. I had to get it, just had to. But I also want to say a big hello to Ali, who was there on the day in Trident Trains when I bought this. He's only a wee lad. I think he's about 10 or 12 or something like that. Not very old. But I just want to say a big hey to Ali, who was there with his grandparents, I think, on the day I bought this. So, big hello to you. And that was fun. It was nice to talk trains and to chew Richard's ear off at Trident Trains. All about the locomotives we were constantly looking at and drooling over. Anyway, oh, here we go. DCC jacket. Well, we can get rid of that. Okay, Class 08, Class 09. Now, these were nicknamed Gronks. They were nicknamed Gronks. I don't know why, I don't know where that came from, but they were nicknamed Gronks. And the Class 09, very similar to the Class 08, but slightly different gearing, as far as I know. And the Class 08 was based on the LMS Class 11. Well, it was later called the Class 11. It wasn't called that when they made it. But yes, you can owe the LMS. You can owe the origins of this locomotive. You can trace it back And you can say a big thanks to the LMS, basically, because they worked on it, they developed it. And I think that's rather cool. So the instructions are pretty standard. You know, we're used to these by now. How to take the chassis off, where to put the oil, how to change the motor. And where to put the DCC chip. Fantastic. Right, enough of the boring stuff. Now, as I said, I really love this packaging. Why? Why do I love this packaging? I'll tell you why. Because you can do it all with one hand. And, well, I guess I need to prove that now, don't I? So, here we go. I've got one hand. I take off that side. And then I take off this side. These are like little plastic clips. Take the front off. Look at that. Okay, the other hand can come in again now. But just look how nice that is. I love how this polystyrene, it splits into two like that. I just think that's brilliant. The locomotive is held nicely and securely in the rest of the packaging, and you just take the top off. There's no, there's none of this pushing it out or even lifting it out really. It's just there. So yeah, I do like that. Obviously their packaging now is even better because it's, the gigantic block of ice and stuff, but this is really nice, really good. Now, before I forget, we have got some details in there. I'm not too sure what details they are. Oh, they look like vacuum pipes. Yeah, some, is it a three chain link connectors and some vacuum pipes. And what are they? Are they something to do with the coupling mechanism? I'm not too sure. Whoa, struggle to refocus. There we go. We'll look at those another time. Let's put that to one side. And here she is. Here's the Gronk. Here is the Class 08 by Hornby in Serco livery. The paper's not been too shredded up by the cat today, that's quite good. And there she is. Okay, well the first thing I've got to say is, you've got to be careful. Seriously, you have got to be careful. There is so much detail on this model that you have got to be careful you don't snap any of it off. For a start, you've got incredibly finely detailed handrails running not just along the top of the locomotive, but you've got some there, you've got tiny ones there, and you've even got them running down the side of the doors, which even open. Look at that. They open on both sides as well. Incredible. And you've got sprung buffers, as you can imagine, as you'd expect, front and rear. You've got NEM couplings. Look, let me just show you. Okay, so that's the little sort of like dovetail clip that holds the coupling to the locomotive. But this is your NEM pocket, just there. This black thing here is the NEM pocket. And then that's your small tension lock coupler in the NEM pocket, in the dovetail connector there. And as far as I know, every single wheel picks up. There's no traction tyres, as you can see. None at all. You've got connecting rods, as there should be, on all the wheels. And very nicely detailed they are too. Little steps at the front, little steps at the back. Again, as I say, doors open. Does that move? Yes, it does. Wow. Oh my gosh. You've even got a sliding vent at the top of the cab there. Now, there's no lighting. There's no lighting at all. But you can add lighting. If you wanted to, you could fit a cab light into there quite easily, and that would look very, very nice. I'm not too sure about having lights at the front. I don't think it's supposed to have any. I have seen a few people with lights at the front of these, but I'm not too sure if they're supposed to have them. And if they are, I don't know where they go. So maybe you know more about that than me and you can comment and tell me and inform me. But this is just exquisite. Absolutely beautiful. Just look at the detail on the back there. Look at the wasp stripe livery. And the warning signs for the overhead cables, which everything has to have these days. whether it's anywhere near overhead cables or not. I get a lot of people asking why locomotives have these, and it's a health and safety thing basically, because once you're climbing up onto the top of a locomotive, you're getting quite close to the cables, because if you can imagine it on the track, then the overhead cables are about here. So it's really not very far for like 25,000 volts or whatever it is to just make that jump down to you on the top of the locomotive. So you've got to be careful, very, very careful. And I can't stop gawping at this locomotive, at this model. It's absolutely beautiful. It's really heavy too, for such a little thing. It's so heavy. And if we compare it, this is where we're really going to see a difference. This is a budget class 08, as you can see. And just look at the difference. Look at the handrails, or lack of, on this model. Look at the linkage. And then if we're going to have to be so careful, just look at the backs. Can you see the difference? No sprung buffers, gigantic couplings, slim, nice, realistic couplings, and sprung buffers. It's all around, and it's not just all around, it's the actual dimensions. If this looks a little bit bigger, it's because it is actually a tiny bit bigger. Not much, but it's a little bit bigger than it should be. And it's also very light, really, really light. There's not very much weight to it at all, whereas this is really heavy. And then this is supposed to have traction tyres too. In fact, yes, there you go, just there. Whereas this has none, which is exactly what we want. That's much more realistic. It doesn't need them. It's so heavy and it has so much strength and so much power, it doesn't need them. Now, what's going to be really interesting is if I show you the Bachmann Class 08. Here we go. This is a Bachmann Class 08. Now, it's pretty good. You will agree. It's a very tight call. It's a very close call. It's a very tight competition. But the Bachmann 08 does not have opening doors. Although it does have sprung buffers and it does have NEM couplings, it doesn't have opening doors. And it just seems to, I don't know, it just seems to lack. Like if you look around the front of the models, the Bachmann Class 08 here seems to be missing little bits of detail that the Hornby 08 has got in place. And then it's the same story on the back. It's very, very close, but the Hornby just about takes it. It's just that tad more realistic, that tad more refined. And I've been told, on good authority, that they run brilliantly. Okay, so here we are over at the layout, and as you can see, we've got a new addition. It's official, people. This has been made for me by a very good friend of mine, Ben, on Twitter. Him and his partner are very good at graphic design and images and Photoshop and stuff, and they knocked this up for me. In fact, they knocked it up so good, they made it so realistic that I had to change it slightly and get rid of English heritage and modify the logo at the bottom slightly, just so I don't get sued by English heritage. So I thought that was really cool, and I've been meaning to print this out and put it on for ages, because they did it months and months ago, and I finally got around to doing it. So cheers, Ben and his partner, for that. Thank you very, very much. That's really, really sweet. And if we just pan out nice and slowly, just come on, gotta be professional. Don't worry about the gap in the track. There's a new video coming up exactly on this gap, because this gap is famous. It's been here for so long and it's about to be plugged up. So there's another video coming up on that. Keep your eyes peeled. Right, so let's get the Class 08. Here she is. Absolutely beautiful she is. I really, really do love this locomotive. And have I ever ran it? No, I don't think I have. I don't think it's ever been run. So I'm going to have to be very careful with it, actually, because I'm going to have to make sure that I run it in properly, obviously. Now, it's DC at the moment, so as this layout is hybrid, which means it can be DC or DCC. Today we are in DC mode. So let's just give it a little wiggle and see if it responds to my controls. Oh yes, it does. And it's got a nice grunt to it as well, actually. It could be that it's just new. It could be that it needs a bit of a service, but it's got a really nice grunt. Like a sort of, I mean business kind of grunt. I like it. Yeah, cute. Right, let's get it going. Okay, so there she goes. Now, she's not going to win any speed awards. She's definitely not going to race the Pendolino and win. But it's a Class 08. She's not supposed to. She's not supposed to go fast. Will she make it over the express points? Oh yes, look at that. These express points are famous for killing locomotives, which is why I leave them in, because they're a really good test. And she's made it over fine. Just look how smooth that mechanism is. Really realistic speed. She's doing about 10 miles an hour. Just look at this, people. Look how quality this mechanism is. It's just so smooth. Bear in mind she's still running in as well. So all the gears and bearings and motors and stuff, you know, they're all finding their home. They're all getting bed in and used to being ran. Yet she's just running so smoothly. She will go faster. She will. But you have to ask yourself, well, why do you want her to go any faster? She's a Class 08. They typically have a top speed of about 15 miles per hour. So you wouldn't really want it to go any quicker than this. It's an incredibly realistic speed. Very prototypical, very accurate. I'll tell you what I've got to do. I've got to let her finish running in and then do a strength test. That's what I've got to do. Okay, so here comes our Class 08 by Hornby. Absolutely beautiful she is. Now, as I say, the only thing I haven't done is tested how strong she is. I really want to, but I want to do it properly. I really want to test her with a range of rolling stock, some coaches too even. So, because this video is already quite long, I'm going to leave that to a separate video, which I'll link to later, so keep your eyes peeled for that, and I'll try to get it done and uploaded as soon as possible.